Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to my Constellation Tour number 45. This is Bill Breeden, and with tonight's Constellation Tour, we have 44 of them behind us. So we've covered half of the celestial sphere, half of the sky's 88 constellations, and I really thank you for sticking with me this far, and hopefully I can make this one interesting and educational. Tonight we're going to talk about Lepus, the hare, or the rabbit. Lepus is located in the southern celestial hemisphere, just under the feet of Orion. Lepus is best viewed between January and March, so that makes it a winter constellation. And we have Stellarium here set up for January the 15th, 2021 at about 8 p.m. with a true field of view of 60 degrees, which gives you a view of the sky that you would see with the unaided eye just by looking up. And we're simulating light pollution from the suburbs to make it realistic for you. So this should look pretty much like the sky would look if you were looking south on a clear winter night from the northern from the northern hemisphere of Earth. So to make it a little bit more realistic, I'm going to turn off the star labels. And to find Lepus, Lepus is actually easy to find because it's near Orion. And I want to start off by saying that any constellation that's near a celestial signpost, for example, any constellation near Orion, or Leo, or Pegasus, or the Big Dipper, we get kind of a free ride. That those bright signpost constellations serve to make their neighboring constellations even that much easier to find. So let's find Lepus the hare. So we're looking south, and we're going to look up a little higher so that we can see Orion. Look over to the southeast just a little bit, and you can see here's Orion's belt, and here are the bright stars of Orion. We'll go over them again here. This is Betelgeuse, this is Bellatrix, this is Rigel, and this is Safe. And the three belt stars are Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. And you can even see the Orion Nebula here with the unaided eye from a suburban location. So where is Lepus? Well, here's the bottom of Orion. So assuming that Orion is oriented upright with Betelgeuse and Bellatrix at the top and Rigel and Safe at the bottom, you want to look for this grouping of stars, this sort of nondescript grouping of stars that are actually bright enough to poke through moderate light pollution. That would be Lepus. That's Lepus the hare. Let's have a look at the lines here. And you'll see our celestial bunny rabbit is right here. Now let's look at the area of the sky that Lepus encompasses. It's this area right here inside this red square. All of that is Lepus. So the alpha star in Lepus is called Arneb, and it shines at magnitude 2.5. And Stellarium does list it as a double star, although I'm not sure it's easy to split. It's located 2,200 light years away. So for an alpha star, that's pretty far away. Let's have a look at that through the finder. And a magnitude 2.5 star is going to look really nice through your finder or through binoculars. And it looks like there's a couple of stars here flanking it to the left and right, though I'm not sure that our neb will split easily. It doesn't. So even though Stellarium listed as a double star, you might want to try it. It might be a little bit too close to split with a backyard-sized telescope. I do have one star listed as a double star on my list, though, in Lepus. So let's go for that, and it's Gamma Lipourus. And you can see where Gamma is in the constellation. It's right down here. And this one, Gamma Lipourus, is magnitude 3.5 and is located just 29 light years away. So much, much closer to Earth than the Alpha star. Let's see, through the finder scope, it does look like it's starting to split. So this should be a really good one. That is going to be a nice one. Through the 24 millimeter Panoptic eyepiece, Gamma Lipourus splits really, really nicely. Highly recommend this one. Looks like they're both sort of an amber color. Okay, let's return to a naked eye view. And let's before we proceed here, let's go to a dark site. Let's make it dark. And now you can see the bright stars of Orion here. You've got Rigel and Safe here. And if you come just below those, you can see the stars of Lepus right here. Let's look at the mythical figures. And you can see the Alpha star here is like right in the middle of the rabbit. And you have, I think this was the double star. Was this it? No, that's another one. Here it is. Gamma Lipourus is right here in the paws. Let's have another look at Gamma. I liked that one. And you can see how quickly it splits. Even with a field of view of about 1.3 degrees, Gamma really does split nicely. And with even more power, it's going to separate even more for you. That's what, here, let's go ahead and put in a higher power eyepiece. It's a 9 millimeter Delight eyepiece. Will split it really nicely. Although I think it looks better with a little bit less power because you get more stars in the field of view, and there's something to be said about just simple natural beauty when you're looking at these objects in the sky. So the double star itself, Gamma Lipourus, surrounded by these other field stars, makes for a really stunning view through an eyepiece, a low power eyepiece. Okay, let's venture off into deep sky objects. There's one object on Charles Messier's famous deep sky list within the boundaries of Lepus, and that is M79. It's a globular cluster. And through the finder scope, it should stand out. It looks like it's really close to this bright star here. Now, Stellarium doesn't like you to click on deep sky objects. You have to search for them. Interesting little quirk there. That you have to search for it to get it to select it. There we go. And through a low power wide angle eyepiece, M79 looks really nice. This is a magnitude 8.5 globular cluster. located 42,000 light years from Earth. So this is pretty average distance away as globular clusters go. They're generally located 5-figure light years away. So 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 60,000. In that general range of distances, and this one is at 42,000 light years away. So put another way, you're seeing this globular cluster the way it looked 42,000 years ago. Kind of mind-bending. Well, let's put a little bit more power on it. Let's try a 19 millimeter panoptic. Now, look at the difference here between the view through a 24 millimeter and the view through a 19. I'll go back and forth a few times. 24, 19, 24, 19. Now, it didn't seem to make much of a difference. Both of these eyepieces are in the Panoptic series. By TeleVue, they both give you a 68-degree apparent field of view, which in this simulation means this outer black ring is the same size, it's depicted the same size to simulate the same field of view. But you'll notice it's the magnification that just changes a little bit between the 24 and the 19. Now, in practice, if you're out under a dark sky and you are using eyepieces that are this close in magnification, it really doesn't matter which one you favor. It's just a matter of preference. Myself, I prefer the 19 millimeter. The little tiny boost in power that you get going from a 24 to a 19 doesn't look like much, but in reality, when you're using your telescope, you begin to see a little bit more detail. The background is a little bit darker with a little bit more power without overdoing it. So when looking at globular clusters, I do tend to prefer the 19 over the 24. Okay, now notice with the 24 you get an extra star here that basically makes it into the field of view. So if you're looking at a large open cluster, the 24 millimeter is just a little bit better, but with something small like a globular, the 19 seems to give me a view that's preferred. But on the other hand, if I've got the 24 millimeter in the telescope and I'm just cruising the sky, you know, for the small difference, I may not bother to switch eyepieces. It just depends on how much time I want to spend on an object and what I want to see. Okay, I have one more object to view within Lepus, and this is an open cluster. It's NGC 2017. And this is on my list of objects to look for. I'm not sure that Stellarium will have an image of it in its database, so hopefully it does. And this is a view of it through the finder scope. And through the 19 millimeter, we're just getting 3 stars. So I'm suspicious here of Stellarium that the actual open cluster is really may not be shown in its entirety here. Maybe it is just 3 stars. So get out under the real sky and check it out. That's what I'll do. Okay, well, this concludes my tour of Lepus the Hare. Good night and good seeing.